Back in 2015, a small YouTube channel called Obscure Horror Corner uploaded footage of a game that no one had ever heard of before. The game was called Sad Satan, and within weeks it had become one of the internet's most unsettling mysteries. At first glance, the game doesn't seem particularly complex. You walk slowly through endless dimly lit corners from a first-person perspective, while distorted music, reverse speech, and unsettling sounds echo in the background. Every so often, the screen is interrupted by strange photographs and brief flashes of imagery that appear without any explanation. There are no clear objectives, almost no interaction, and very little context. The entire experience feels more like a nightmare than a traditional horror game. The mystery surrounding the game quickly attracted attention across YouTube, Reddit, and horror forums. As more people discussed the videos, gaming website Kotaku eventually interviewed the owner of Obscure Horror Corner to find out where the game had actually come from. According to him, an anonymous individual had contacted him online and sent him a download link, claiming the game had originated somewhere on the dark web. He said that he simply downloaded it, recorded the gameplay, and uploaded it to YouTube without knowing much about its origins. Not long after the interview, the channel owner posted what he claimed was a download link to the game on Reddit. However, users quickly noticed something wasn't right. Many pointed out that the files didn't match what appeared in the videos. When questioned, he admitted the link wasn't genuine, explaining that he intentionally uploaded a fake version because he didn't want people accessing what he described as the real game, claiming it supposedly contained extremely disturbing and illegal material. The explanation only made the mystery even larger. Soon afterwards, an anonymous user on 4chan claimed to be the same person who had originally supplied the game to Obscure Horror Corner. They then uploaded what they insisted was the authentic version of Sad Satan. Unlike the footage seen on YouTube, people who downloaded this version reported that it contained graphic gore, illegal imagery, and other disturbing content. There were also claims that the files contained malware, with some users saying the game caused crashes, strange system behavior, and in some cases left their computers unusable. While many of these reports have never been independently verified, the downloads were widely considered unsafe, and most discussions now strongly advise against ever attempting to run them. With multiple versions of the game now circulating online, nobody could say for certain which one, if any, was the original. That uncertainty led to countless theories. The explanation most people accept today is that Obscure Horror Corner likely created the version shown on YouTube himself as part of an internet mystery or alternate reality style project designed to attract attention. According to this theory, the later files shared on anonymous forums were unrelated copies that had been altered by other users, some of whom embedded malicious software and disturbing material simply to shock anyone curious enough to download them. Even today, the links claiming to contain the real version of Sad Satan still appear on obscure horror forums. If you ever come across one, it's best to leave it alone. Curiosity has always fueled internet mysteries, but in this case, clicking the wrong download could expose you to malware or other harmful content, making the mystery far less interesting than the consequences. It was late one evening, and 20-year-old Hannah Vivaretti was winding down inside her second-floor apartment. Like many nights before, she positioned her phone, started recording, and began dancing. For Hannah, this wasn't about creating content or entertaining an audience. Dancing was simply a way for her to relax after a stressful day, a quiet, personal ritual that helped her clear her mind. With the music playing, everything seemed completely normal. But within moments, what started as a peaceful evening would turn into one of the most terrifying experiences of her life. As Hannah danced, something outside the camera's view suddenly caught her attention. She froze immediately before calling out, "Who are you?" Standing in the open doorway of her balcony was a man she had never spoken to before. The sight made no sense at all. Her apartment was on the second floor, meaning he had somehow climbed up to her balcony, forced open the door, and entered her home without making a sound. Now, he simply stood there, staring directly at her with a wide grin across his face. Unsure of what she was looking at, Hannah asked again, "Who are you?" The man then responded calmly, insisting that they should be friends. Despite his relaxed tone, Hannah's voice made it obvious that she understood the seriousness of the situation. Trying to stay composed, she slowly moved towards her phone while keeping her eyes fixed on the stranger. At the same time, the man continued repeating that they should be friends. Hannah ignored him. Instead, she made her way to the front door of her apartment. As she opened it, the camera briefly captured the intruder for the first and only time. He remained standing motionless in the balcony doorway, still watching her. With the front door now open, Hannah persisted that he should leave. Her voice carried through the apartment complex, loud enough for nearby neighbours to hear. Only then did the man finally back away and leave the apartment. Although Hannah initially acted as though she had never seen him before, investigators later discovered that she did vaguely recognise him. He lived in the same apartment complex. They had never actually spoken, but she had noticed him on multiple occasions. Rather than interacting with her, he simply stared from a distance while smiling, leaving Hannah with the unsettling feeling that he had developed an unhealthy fixation on her. That made what happened that night even more disturbing. Investigators believe the man had deliberately targeted Hannah and had gone to significant lengths to reach her second-floor balcony before quietly entering her apartment while she was alone. Even more chilling was one detail Hannah remembered after the incident. Throughout the entire encounter, the man's hands never once came out of his hoodie pocket. She later admitted that this haunted her the most because she couldn't stop wondering whether he had been hiding a weapon. Thankfully, because she acted quickly by opening the front door and alerting nearby neighbours, she never had to find out what his intentions truly were. Just days later, police arrested the suspect. He was identified as a 36-year-old Angel Gomez. He was charged with stalking, second-degree assault, third-degree burglary, fourth-degree burglary, and malicious destruction of property. However, the case took another unexpected turn. Despite the seriousness of the allegations, he was released on bail shortly after his arrest. The decision sparked criticism because he lived in the same apartment complex as Hannah. Not only did he know where she lived, but she now had to return home knowing the man accused of breaking into her apartment was once again free. Speaking publicly after the incident, Hannah expressed how frightened she felt by the decision, saying she didn't believe it was fair that he was able to walk freely while she had to constantly look over her shoulder and worry about her own safety. Fortunately, the case never escalated any further. There were no additional reported encounters between Hannah and the suspect, and he no longer lives in the country. Even so, the footage remains deeply unsettling. Unlike many videos found online, this wasn't staged or created for entertainment. It captured a real moment, in which a young woman unknowingly recorded the seconds before confronting an intruder who had silently climbed onto her second-floor balcony and entered her home. It's a chilling reminder that even the places we consider safest can become the setting of something truly terrifying. When relationships come to an end, emotions can sometimes run high. In this case, a routine cell phone recording captured the terrifying moments before what could have become a deadly attack. At the centre of the incident was 26-year-old Mohammed Amana, a man living in Arafat, Sweden. He had previously been in a relationship with a woman named Maria. According to reports, the relationship had deteriorated after Mohammed had multiple encounters with law enforcement, eventually leading Maria to decide she no longer wanted to be with him. Following the breakup, Maria began staying in a home of a mutual male friend. Whether it was simply somewhere she felt safer or just somewhere to stay, Mohammed soon learned where she was living. Instead of accepting that the relationship was over, he decided to confront her in person. On May 25th, Mohammed arrived outside the apartment and knocked on the door, asking if he could speak with Maria. Inside, both Maria and the homeowner refused to let him enter. They had no intention of opening the door, hoping that if they ignored his request, he would eventually leave. For a brief moment, it seemed like that was exactly what was happening. Mohammed walked away from the property and the situation appeared to calm down. But that sense of relief lasted only a few minutes. Instead of leaving for good, Mohammed returned. This time, he wasn't empty-handed. He came back carrying a ladder. Realizing something wasn't right, the homeowner grabbed his cell phone and began recording from the inside of the apartment. At first, the video almost feels confusing. Mohammed doesn't appear frantic or out of control. In fact, he seems unusually calm as he positions the ladder beneath the second-floor balcony. The man filming calls out to him, asking what he's doing and whether he's looking for a fight. Mohammed once again calmly replies that he only wants to speak with Maria. His answer might have sounded reassuring on its own, but his actions told a very different story. Instead of walking away, he began climbing the ladder towards the balcony. Even the person filming seemed unsure how serious the situation really was. Mohammed wasn't shouting, he wasn't making obvious threats. His calm demeanour made it difficult to know whether this was simply an emotional confrontation or something far more dangerous. That uncertainty disappeared in an instant. As Mohammed reached the balcony, he suddenly attacked the homeowner. The unexpected strike forced the man recording to retreat back inside the apartment. He managed to slide the balcony door shut before Mohammed climbed onto the balcony himself. Only then did the true danger become obvious. In Mohammed's hand was a large kitchen knife. The confrontation had escalated from a tense argument into an armed home invasion. Still holding his phone, the homeowner backed further into the apartment after suffering minor injuries during the attack. Meanwhile, Maria reacted immediately. Rather than trying to confront Mohammed, she ran to the bathroom and locked the door behind her, creating one final barrier between herself and the man trying to reach her.
Du, han krossar glaset med en sten. Mohammed. Släpp in mig på där så han kommer in. Han kommer in, Maria.
Mohammed wasted no time following her. The cell phone footage captures him running toward the bathroom door before deliberately trying to force his way inside. When pushing on the door failed, he attempted another method. Using the tip of his knife, he tried manipulating the lock from the outside, hoping to unlock the door without breaking it down. For several tense moments, the small lock was all that stood between Maria and the armed intruder. Exactly what Mohammed intended to do if he reached her was never established in court. Fortunately, events never reached that point. Someone had already contacted emergency services, and police officers were dispatched to the scene almost immediately. Within minutes, officers arrived to the apartment before Mohammed was able to get through the locked bathroom door. He was taken into custody, bringing the terrifying ordeal to an end. Although the homeowner received only minor cuts during the struggle, the outcome could have been significantly worse had the police arrived even a few minutes later. There's no telling how the situation might have unfolded. Investigators later considered the circumstances surrounding the incident, including Mohammed's decision to return after initially leaving, his use of a ladder to gain access to the second-floor apartment, and the fact that he arrived carrying a large kitchen knife. Taken together, those actions painted the picture of someone who had gone far beyond simply wanting a conversation. Following legal proceedings, Mohammed was sentenced to 2 years in prison. In addition to the prison sentence, he also received a 10-year ban from entering Sweden after serving his time. The cell phone footage remains one of the most unsettling parts of the case. There's no dramatic shouting or obvious warning signs in the moments leading up to the attack. Instead, what makes the video so disturbing is how ordinary everything seemed at first. Mohammed speaks calmly, his movements are controlled. For several seconds, it almost appears as though the situation might end peacefully. It's a reminder that appearances can be deceptive, and that situations involving stalking, harassment, and domestic disputes can escalate far faster than anyone expects. In this case, a locked bathroom door, a quick-thinking homeowner, and a rapid response from police prevented what could have become a far more tragic outcome.